All right, folks, let me call the meeting to order. This is a regularly scheduled Greer City Council meeting, called and convened this March the 22nd, 2016. Having called the meeting to order, I'd like to ask you to join us as we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then our invocation, led by Councilwoman Kimberly Booker.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Lord, we come before you as humble as we know how, again to say thank you. Thank you for this beautiful day you've blessed us with. Thank you for our life, our health, and our strength. God, we ask that you enclose us in your rightful arms, God, that we may do nothing that's not pleasing into your sight. God, in this meeting, we ask that you touch it. Allow us to do nothing in this meeting that's not pleasing to you. Bless our citizens and our employees. Always allow us to be delightful in your presence. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Duncan, do we have anybody to appear in public forum this evening?
No, sir.
With that, then, we'll move to the minutes of council meeting. Council, you've got the minutes from our March 8th meeting, our last meeting. I'll entertain a motion that they be received.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any items of note for the clerk? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert, Mayor Danner.
Yes. We've got a special recognition this weekend, and I'm going to ask the folks from Greer Community Ministries if they would to join me in the front. Hannah Rainwater, who is the events coordinator, and Mr. Travis Babb, the Director of Development, are with us, and we have a proclamation to give to them. Let me tell you a little bit about Greer Community Ministries and the Meals on Wheels program. Because I have the opportunity to do it with my place of employment, and that comes up about once a quarter. So 3 or 4 times a year at least, I'm able to do that and sometimes fill in. And went this past week and was able to run a new route this week, one, or at least it was new to me. I don't think it's new to y'all, but it was new to me. And ran that route by myself, and so it gave me an opportunity to interact with those 15 people that were on my list. If you've never had an opportunity to do a Meals on Wheels route, I'm going to ask you to do that. In fact, I think everybody in our community ought to do that at some point in time. It really gives you an understanding and a passion for the work that these folks do. That route, as I mentioned, was new to me. I don't know if I have become jaded somewhat to the conditions of some of the folks that I serve on a regular basis on the route that I run with some of my coworkers. But I came across 2 or 3 instances on the route that I did the other day that quite honestly should not exist in the city of Greer. You know, we work hard to make sure that every citizen in this community is treated equally and impartially and to the best of our ability to make sure that they've got a quality of life that we all should be able to be proud of. And I can tell you for a fact that I came across some instances where people weren't treated that way. We've got some housing conditions that are not appropriate. We've got some folks that need assistance well beyond a meal a day. We've got issues that we need to address, and we are often very quick to talk about how many good things are going on in this city. I'll admit I'm the chief one of those that does that. And we have so many good things going on that we can never overlook those folks in our community that are less fortunate than we are. And there are a lot more of them than we realize. You know, we do meals for kids before school, and we help them during school. We give them backpacks sometimes to take home for the weekend, so they'll have something to eat during the weekend. I truly know that there are people in this community that probably subsist on the meals that they get from Noble Meals, and it's an organization that provides for us an invaluable program to address the needs of hunger and nutritional supplement in our community. And as proud as we are of our community, we need to never let that overshadow the fact that we have a long ways to go in terms of providing for all of the citizens of our community. And so with that, I want to offer them this proclamation, which would have been very short, but I've not done this. And it says, whereas Meals on Wheels, March for Meals urges every citizen to take time this month to honor the Meals on Wheels program, the seniors we serve, and the volunteers who care for them. And whereas Greer Community Ministries program enriches an entire community and helps combat senior hunger and isolation in Greer. And whereas Greer Community Ministries on Wheels program benefits 350 local residents on a weekly basis, meals are prepared on site, delivered, and funded completely through community donations. Whereas the city of Greer, as well as the surrounding community, are strong supporters of the Meals on Wheels mission and the desire to eradicate hunger and isolation among our most vulnerable citizens, now therefore Mayor Rick Danner and the Greer City Council declare the month of March 2016 as the Greer Community Ministry Meals on Wheels March for Meals Month. And with that, I'd like to present you with this proclamation. And join me in giving them a round of applause for the work they did.
Thank you, and on behalf of Greer Community Ministry and our staff and all of our volunteers, I want to thank Mayor Danner as well as the entire City Council for supporting us this month with the March for Meals program. We do depend on you all, and thank you. And if anybody's interested in delivering meals, please call us. We have open routes all the time, and we'd love to let you run one. They're easy to do, and they will make an impact on you, I think.
You want to speak to all three of us?
Just you guys.
You can be rude, isn't it? With that, then, we'll move to our departmental reports. Council, you see contained in your packet there the reports of activity from our different departments. These are reports for the month of February 2016. As usual, if you find something in that report that you'd like more information about, the department head or the administrator will be glad to give you more information. Mr. David Seifert is with us this evening to give us our financial report. Mr. Seifert.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight we bring to you the financial summary report for February 28, 2016. At that time, we have general fund revenue recorded of $14,080,000 $368 with expenditures of $12,341,742. That amount is at 9% under budget for February 28th. Referencing the dashboards, we have an overall positive variance of $1,773,569 and a carrying cash balance at February 28th of $10,423,777. Moving to the hospitality fund, we have revenue recorded that is 8% over budget of $1,262,601 with expenditures recorded of $678,399. And the hospitality fund has a carrying cash balance of $1,259,922. And then lastly, for the stormwater fund, we have receipts of $577,074 with expenditures of $262,833. And the carrying cash balance in the stormwater fund is $1,237,657. Those are our three biggest funds that we'd like to bring to you on a monthly basis for that activity. Certainly, if you have any questions, we'll take those now, or you may, at your discretion, forward them at a later time.
Council, any questions at this point?
Thank you.
Appreciate the information, sir. Mr. Seifert's always available to give you more insight into any of those reports that he brought to us this evening or any others you may have question about. We've got a couple of petitioners to come before us this evening, the first of which is Mr. John White. Mr. White would like an opportunity to introduce himself to council. He is a candidate for State Senate seat number 5, which includes most of Greer to the north, and so a large piece of the Greer area. Mr. White is a native of Spartanburg and lives in northern Greenville County, so he knows the district well. He is an attorney by vocation and has been a long-time proponent for the Spartanburg area and northern Greenville County and some of the things that are going on in that area, but he will forever be known as the son of the fellow that used to own the Beacon Restaurant, I believe. So sometimes we just don't ever outgrow our legacy, John. So.
No, sir, we don't, and Mayor and members of council and those that are here tonight, I thank you for the opportunity, and Madam Clerk, I thank you for allowing me to come before Miss Teen Greer. She's a beautiful lady, and that would have been a hard act to follow, so I want to thank you for that. First, what I'd like to say is thank you. Public service is something that takes a lot of time and effort, dedication, and I thank you and I applaud you for the work that you've done here in Greer. Your time, your efforts, your accomplishments, and more importantly, your vision. And it starts with my friend over here and others here, is remarkable. I'm better known for the Beacon. In fact, I talked to some of the folks here and they're shaking their heads. They remember when I worked there. In fact, I worked there until I was 51 years old. And that's when we sold the Beacon, even though I had a law practice. And we were laughing just a minute ago with the lady that I beat in when I came in through the buzzer. And she said, "You must be carrying a weapon around your ankle." And I said, "No, that must be my bad knee." But she said she remembers me when I worked at the Beacon. So until I was 51 years old, I might make your sandwich, take your order, take your money, or do all of them the same, because my father would never leave the Beacon unless one of his sons were there, and I had 2 brothers, and we all were devoted, and we were devoted to the great employees we had there for 3 generations. I'm better known of being the father of 6 daughters, and so you have a special place in my heart. I have 6 wonderful daughters, and I have 22 grandchildren, and I have a great time with my 22 grandchildren, and if you allow me, will leave after I speak tonight because I've got some that have come in that are going to go back before Easter. So we've got a preliminary little Easter dinner tonight, and I want to be there for them. My daughters grew up in the family business too, even though they do different things and live different places now, even though I have a daughter that lives in Spartanburg and one in Greenville. But we grew up with family values, faith, hard work, determination, and the American dream. This summer we were at the beach, and as we were at the beach, we talked about who was going to be the presidential nominee. And it's developed a lot differently than we thought it might develop, as you've seen on TV. And we were talking about the state of affairs, and one of my daughters said, you ought to think about running for office. And another one says, you ought to. And my 13-year-old grandson said, I've just got one piece of advice for you, and that's actions speak louder than words. Pretty profound from a 13-year-old. When I made the decision to run, the first place I came was Greer. And I had an opportunity to speak to the mayor, and I've had an opportunity to be over here. In fact, my family and I, if you've seen us over here on the weekends, have been going door to door. And with 6 daughters and 22 grandchildren, you can cover a lot of door to door. But I might mention there are a lot of diapers and a lot of changes. And so if you've seen them, you've seen it all. And so I'm running because I think it's important for this district to have a voice. And I'm running because I'm inviting you to, number one, help me be elected, but more importantly, I'm inviting you to allow me to be not the senator, but your senator. And so what I want is I want you to be able to have a voice, much like you might have had and did have a long time ago with Fern Smith, to understand, to meet your needs and help you. Because what I want for my grandchildren is, I want them to have a better place. I want them to have jobs. I want them to have an education. And to do that, we've got to do things that you've been doing positively in Greer. And I want to be a part of your team. And so I thank you for the time tonight to speak to you. I've probably gone over my 3 minutes. I apologize. But I wanted to come and say and tell you who I am, why I'm running, and ask you for your support. And I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, with that then, we've got a second petitioner, and as Mr. White mentioned, it is Miss Greater Greer Teen. Berkeley Bryant is with us this evening. She is the new representative for the city of Greer in regards to the Greater Greer Miss Teen. And so the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much for that. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Berkeley Bryant. I'm Miss Greater Greer Teen 2016, and I'm also a 15-year-old freshman at T.L. Hanna High School in Anderson, South Carolina, and I'm so honored to represent Greer this year at the Miss South Carolina Teen Pageant, and I thank you so much for having me here tonight to present to you my personal platform of Tap Out Cyberbullying, as well as the personal projects that I've implemented in Greer as well as Anderson County. Before I was crowned Miss Greater Greer Teen, I was also awarded Miss Anderson Teen last year, and I represented my hometown at the Miss South Carolina Teen Pageant. And Mayor Terrence Roberts of Anderson actually honored me with a proclamation proclaiming No Bullying Day in the city of Anderson last April. And so that was a huge honor for me, and since then we've had 5,000 students, well over that, pledge to stand up against bullying in the city. And that's what I hope to bring to Greer. I feel that it is my time to make an even bigger impact in Greer as Miss Greater Greer Teen. And I've already started that work at Chandler Creek Elementary School, And with that, I've implemented a new project called Buddies Not Bullies, building positive relationships and confident youth. And through that, I hope to bring the awareness of bullying to the earliest of grade levels so that we can really get that issue solved at the earliest of grade levels, because it is so important for them to understand the dangers of bullying and all of that, so that we know once we get into middle schools and high schools, they know how to handle those situations. So I thank you so much for your time tonight, but I do want to remind you that the Miss South Carolina Teen Pageant is this June, and I'm so proud to represent Greer this summer at the Miss South Carolina Teen Pageant. And I hope that even if I only make a difference in the lives of just one person, I hope that that positive impact really generates through the Greer community as well as the state of South Carolina as a whole. And I really do appreciate your time tonight, and I thank you so much for this opportunity to represent Greer. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Berkeley, thank you for mentioning as well, too, that you were Miss Anderson teen, because now when I give you our proclamation, I'm going to have to give you something else on top of that so we can outdo Mayor Roberts. So, Mayor Roberts and I are close friends and served on the executive board of the South Carolina Municipal Association together, and are both former past presidents of that organization. And so great gentleman down there. You have a great mayor in Anderson, and please give him my regards if you see him, and we'll be looking for you in the Greer area as you wrap up the last of your duties and head off to the pageant in June. And so we want to wish you well. Thank you for coming this evening. With that, then, we will move to a presentation by Mr. Grant, who is the director.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think you're getting close there.
Unlike Mr. White, I do have to follow that act, and I don't think that I'll be quite as engaging and keep their attention as well as she did, but I'm going to do my best. Thank you. Good evening, Council and Mayor. The Building Development Standards Department is pleased to be here tonight to bring you up to speed on what's been going on in our world. This is our team. And joining me tonight, some of our team members, we have Glenn Pace from Planning and Zoning, Lillian Hanley, our stormwater engineer, Ruthie Helms, our building official, and they were all required to be here. But we also have Ms. Hazel Poston, who volunteered and surprised me by being here tonight. So Ms. Hazel, thank you. It was very nice for you to be here tonight to support our presentation. We do have some new members on the team this year. We have Tori Elstrom, code enforcement. Anthony Copeland is a stormwater inspector, and Joe Autry is a new building inspector who joined the team this year. Just quickly, our organizational chart, all of our inspectors, building inspectors and code enforcement reports to the building official. We have a GIS planner that reports to planning and zoning, and then our planning and zoning, our building official, stormwater engineer, and inspector, and our administrative assistant reports to me. Our division structure, our department has three divisions: the planning and zoning division, the building inspections and code enforcement division, and the engineering division, and the stormwater program is a part of the engineering division. Typically, our first contact with a new development starts in the planning and zoning division. That division promotes the city's growth by providing comprehensive planning, land development, and historic preservation coordination and services. Some of our actions and efforts this past year, we improved efficiencies by integrating the permitting and plat review process on Web QA, provided iPads to all board members, and adopted the Novus Agenda software. On the economic development side, we awarded facade improvements totaling $30,000 for historic property improvement. And on the quality side, the bin ordinance protects the visual quality and character of commercial areas in the city. And we took custody of 6 bins and removed 3 loads of debris from 3 sites. And we also increased efforts to control illegal signage, and this year Glenn and his team were able to remove 449 illegal signs. Sorry about that, Glenn. In 2015, through the efforts of our boards and commissions, the city was able to achieve more quality development, such as the 7-story addition at the Gibbs Cancer Center located at Spartanburg Regional Healthcare Center at Pelham. That will further enhance Greer's healthcare systems. We approved 250 single-family and 31 multifamily dwelling units, and communities range in size from 28 to as large as 142 lots. You can see communities that were built in Greer in 2013 were the blue triangles, in 2014 the red triangles, and then this past year the magenta triangles. We had Greystone Cottages, Pleasant Drive, Quail Creek, all in this area, and we had Snow and Burns, yet unnamed development, but it is proceeding for this year. The available, since 2013 up to 2015, the Planning Commission has approved 1,457 new parcels, and that's the light blue bars, and 32% of those have been developed and ready for homes to be constructed, and that's the yellow bars. You see each year there, and then that leaves 68% yet to be developed, and that's the darker blue bars. And this next slide just shows that same information in pie chart form, so I'm not going to spend any time on that. Other actions and efforts this year, we adopted the Community Master Plan, and it's time for the 5-year update of the 2010 Comprehensive Plan. So Glenn and his team have been working on that very hard. Got it right this time. And we also hosted the inaugural Structuring Alliance, which was made up of the majority of our boards, commissions, and our council. And the purpose of that was for all those groups to get together with the goal to achieve quality development and sustainable growth management. Annexations this year, the city grew by 110 acres, which increased our square mileage to 23.1. And from 2010 to 2015, we've had an 8.5% increase, up to 27,697. And if Glenn's calculations are correct, on that pace, we will reach 29,830 by the year 2020. You can see right here is our permits collected this year. COs, signed permits, new businesses, new construction, all permits total 588 permits, and you can see the distribution of where the permits were constructed this past year. This is another view of that, just a little different way to look at it. By clustering, the dark red is high clustering, high density zoning permits collected. The white areas are medium clustering, and the lighter blue is a lower clustering of the zoning permits. So you can see how it was distributed around the city limits. Okay, switching gears over to building inspections and code enforcement. They provide for the health, safety, and welfare of the general public through the equal enforcement of all applicable codes and ordinances for the city of Greer. And you can see our inspectors here. We have Tommy Freeman and Joe Autry. These two guys are full-time, and you can see their certifications and qualifications there. And then Billy Campbell and Jeremy Morgan are part-time, and you can see their qualifications as well. Oh, there is a rumor flying around that Mr. Freeman may be retiring this year, so just wanted to bring that up. Okay, for residential housing starts since 2009, you can see that 2014 and 2015 have been very, very active, and the trend has been going upward since 2009. And that's a good thing for us. It keeps us all busy. Also, this slide shows the locations of those housing starts from 2009, 2015. You can see the clustering locations of where those houses were actually constructed or are under construction. This chart indicates the residential construction valuations. This past year, nearly $65 million just in residential alone. As you can see, that's the highest we've had since 2009 by a pretty good margin. So again, it's been a very, very active year for residential. This is for single-family attached townhomes, and this year, 2015, we had 54 townhomes, and that's the most we've had in 6 years. The one blue line that you see is multifamily apartments in 2013. We had none of those this past year. On the commercial side, this year we had $28.8 million worth of construction valuation. That's down a little from last year, but it's pretty equal with 2013 and 12, those years. The total permit valuations of all new construction for residential, commercial, all renovations, remodels, and any upfits or any new construction for the year is $123.6 million. So you can see it's the highest since 2009. Okay, I'd like to switch over to code enforcement for just a minute. As Mr. Mayor, as you were talking about quality of life a little earlier, and this code enforcement department works directly with quality of life in our community. Tor Elstrom is our code enforcement officer. He has 8 years of experience. As I said earlier, he joined us this year. Code enforcement plays a crucial role in maintaining the health, safety, and well-being of our community. It has a direct impact on property values and community image. It's a deterrent to crime and decreasing property values. And Mr. Reuben Greenberg, who was the first African American police chief in Charleston, has a quote that crime and blight go hand in hand. Code enforcement also deals with issues such as hoarding, meth labs, unsanitary conditions, graffiti, derelict vehicles, abandoned homes, and overgrown grass. Just a quick example of CORE's work and effectiveness. You can see with the 4 pictures we had a property with derelict vehicles in the front. Neither one of these cars were working. A derelict vehicle in the back, a derelict trailer, and miscellaneous debris. And after CORE's diligent work, all the debris is gone. This is a functioning vehicle with a tag, and so it was a great job there getting that property cleaned up. I'd like to transition over to the stormwater program. The stormwater program exists to protect our waterways from stormwater pollutants that may be generated by construction sites, illicit discharges, or other means. And we also respond to citizen concerns about drainage. And this is a picture of a typical, we may get a phone call about this, hey, there's water in my backyard, and we would go out and, mitigate that. Our stormwater program has 6 minimum control measures. They are public education, public involvement, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site stormwater runoff control, post-construction stormwater management for new development and redevelopment, and pollution prevention and good housekeeping for municipal operations, which is us. This year, we received 49 projects, and we conducted 15 pre-submittal meetings. I say we, Lillian did most of this. 119 plan reviews, 36 pre-construction reviews, 19 as-built reviews, and we closed out 15 projects. And just a note, the pre-submittal process was implemented this year to help assure that complete submittal packages were submitted and to shorten our review time, which is a welcome by the development community. We can get the reviews as soon as we could, and keep the projects moving. On the stormwater inspection side, this is a picture of Anthony. As I said earlier, he joined us this year. Since he's been here, he's done 278 septic inspections. Residential, 151 individual lot drainage plan reviews, 112 final inspections on the residential side, and he's also had 15 asphalt and proof roll inspections in our subdivisions. We also had a scanning project started this year because our permit requires us to keep records indefinitely. So we started scanning projects so that we could reduce our physical storage space. So all of our projects, we're implementing storing our projects electronically. And this year, in addition to reducing physical storage, our inspectors can also access that database from the field over their iPads and look at plans without having to actually have the physical plans in the vehicle with them. And so this year we scanned approximately 165 projects. We also were able this year to add a GIS layer for our stormwater system. Most of this came from old paper maps that Don Holloman or his predecessors had accumulated, and it is now on a GIS layer, and all new subdivisions that come in now, we require a digital copy, and we Justin Kurtz imports those into the GIS layer. And so now we have a record of all storm drainage systems in our community. This is our stormwater billing for the year, total of $697,161.60. You can see how it's split among the 2 counties. And this year our stormwater plan review fees were $53,625.50. As I mentioned, the pollution prevention and good housekeeping operations is us. Our industrial, one of our requirements of the MS4 permit is pollution prevention and good housekeeping. And Lillian did some training this year on that. She trained 39 employees and contractors in 4 different sessions. Most of those employees were from Parks and Rec, Public Services, and from ACE Environmental. As part of the industrial permit at the Recycle Center, we're about to start a project that implements improvements that will protect the adjacent streams from stormwater pollutants from this Recycle Center. If you can tell by the picture, the asphalt and the stormwater just sheet flows right into the creek, right off the site right now, directly into the stream without any kind of mitigation. So this new project has several highlights. We're going to have a street sweeper collection system that will carry the runoff directly to the sanitary sewer instead of running into the creek. We'll have a new storm drainage collection system, and at the end of those pipes there'll be crystal stream units which have water oil separators, and they also collect solids so they won't go into the creeks, and those units are cleaned periodically by a third party. We're going to have improved stabilization with paving and grass, and we're also, the wash racks will have its own drainage system directly to the sanitary sewer, so the wash racks from the washing the vehicles will not drain to the creek as well. So that'll be a big improvement for our in-house facilities. Another requirement of our MS4 permit is that it's a new requirement, is that we do stormwater sampling quarterly for 2 years. So we started that this year in June, like I said, quarterly sampling, and we'll be doing that until 2017. In 2018, we'll have to assess that data and determine, and depending on the findings, determine if we possibly have to implement any stormwater quality measures at that time. Also part of the permit is our public education and involvement. And Lillian has been busy this year. She had an Adopt a Road litter cleanup. And the city also sponsored the 2015 Southeast Chapter International Erosion Control Association Field Day. And also Lillian had a booth at the Friends of Lake Robinson Day celebration. And I have a quick 12 or 20-second video here, I believe, of that. Just get a flavor for what it was. That's Lillian working with them. Okay, like I said, Lillian had a booth there, and of course it was to convey the message of how important our waters of our community are, and so that was a good thing. Next, I'd like to change gears to the engineering division. We oversee the coordination of city projects, we review site plans for residential and commercial projects, inspect streets and storm drainage construction, and advise the stormwater staff. Right when I first got here, the Randall Street and Depot Street project was underway, approximately 50% complete. So we completed that this year. As you notice, we've got new paving, new sidewalks, new street lights, additional on-street parking, and handicap accessible ramps in the Randall Depot Street area. Also this year, we worked on resurfacing. In our area, we resurfaced approximately 1.9 miles of streets. We have a couple of special paving projects actually came up this year. We have a joint venture with Spartanburg County. This is Valentine Road. We actually own and maintain approximately half It's a 4,000-foot road. We own and maintain about half of it, and the county, Spartanburg County owns and maintains about half of it. And I was approached by Spartanburg County that the road was in serious disrepair, and it didn't need just resurfacing, but rebuilding. So the road was totally rebuilt for a total cost of $122,000, and we split the cost evenly with Spartanburg County. So now Valentine Road is completely rebuilt and rebuilt. Also, we had another special paving project, a Franklin Point subdivision that was down in the southernmost extents of the community. The road was 16 feet wide, not really wide enough to support a new subdivision, and it was in horrible condition. So it was actually rebuilt as well. It was not resurfaced. It was rebuilt by what's known as cement modified reclaimed base. And there's a picture of the construction. And then you can see a picture of what the base looked like before the paving went down. And there's the neighborhood right there, Franklin Point. That's the entrance, and there's some of the houses. And then that's the final product. You see the street is now 20 feet wide. It can better accept our vehicles. We had some drainage projects, of course, this year. The most exciting and largest one we tackled was Waterbrook Drive. Had a property owner there call and said he had a sinkhole in his yard. We went out and took a look and said, yeah, there's a sinkhole. To make a long story short, we found out that there was a storm drainage system there, so we spent probably a good hour and a half looking for the end of the pipe. We never found it. We decided to do some exploratory digging. We found the pipe. It had been completely plugged intentionally underground. The side of it had been knocked out to allow water to seep out, so the pipe had nowhere to drain, and it was eroding about, actually this picture here, my back was about 4 feet from the house, so that's how close it was to the house. And you can see the final product here. Here's the outlet of the pipe. It's right here where we extended the pipe, but the pipe was in the slope here, completely buried. And so anyway, we were able to get that fixed. So that was one of the more exciting projects that Skipper and I worked on this year. Of course, we have more drainage projects, but they're usually simpler and easier to deal with than that. I think we have 42 calls this year. Another special project, the Police Department Traffic Unit has requested to install some of these new type rectangular rapid flash beacons in the city, and the locations they were wanting to try them was at Riverside High School here, and also right downtown Poinsett Street across from Rivera's. Right now we're working with DOT, hashing out final design and permitting details, and we hope to have those installed in the very near future. So I hope you can see that Building and Development Standards Department does cover a wide variety of services for the city, and our staff has been challenged this year to keep up with all this development activity. And with that, that is the end of my presentation, and if you have any questions, we will be happy to try and answer them.
Council? For, this might be, maybe Glenn can help you answer if you don't know, but I saw we had 1,090-something lots. Either they're all of them hadn't been developed or approved, but when they are developed, the house is built, for population numbers, what is the number per house that you use?
That
Calculate.
2.5 forward.
2.5.
Yes.
Others?
We certainly thank you for the report and for the work that your staff does, and
Thank you,
pass
sir.
along to them our appreciation for all that they do and the work that they do. Doing an excellent job, and we thank you for it.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. With that, we'll move to the administrator's report. Mr. Driggers?
Thank you, sir. My thanks also to members of that department. As you are aware, this is Mr. Grant's first opportunity to present an annual report to council, and I think he did an admirable job. So thank you very, very much for presenting that information. A couple of things that I do want to bring to council's attention. One of those is to say thank you. Thank you for your dedication of time 2 weeks ago as we gathered in this very place on the Tuesday evening, and we gathered again on Wednesday, and into Wednesday evening, and we gathered again on Thursday. We spent a total of about 24 hours reviewing information and making plans for this community as we continue to move forward. You'll see some of that actually even presented tonight as we continue to move forward. But that was a great dedication of your time. The resources that we believe that we were able to provide during that process, we certainly hope give you the information that you need in making policy decisions as we continue to move forward. So certainly glad that we were able to accomplish that. Did have an opportunity earlier today to do a preliminary final inspection of the, which is kind of an interesting title, preliminary final, but we did a preliminary final inspection out at the Allen Bennett Memorial Hospital campus. We are preparing for a final inspection. I had a chance to meet with that team there. If you've been by recently, you can see that it is truly nearing completion. We should anticipate within the next few days that the construction trailer will be removed from the site. The temporary fencing will be removed from the site as well. And then we will be in a position to take possession of that property. We are working now with Skipper and with the police department and with some other folks as we are preparing our final plans to secure the site. You'll see that it will be posted as a no trespassing site. We need to protect for liability concerns, encouraging folks not to go on to that site. And then as we continue to move forward, as you were provided some information to us during the retreat, and we will start to look at how that site will be marketed for the future. We're in no particular hurry with that, as we discussed with you during that retreat process, but we do look for your guidance and direction as we move forward. But looking forward to completely closing out that project and developing that site for the community as we continue to move forward. A couple of things that are happening on the calendar. I do want to make sure that we are all aware of those, and one of those is this Thursday evening. Our local Chamber of Commerce, through the CPW Public Safety Appreciation Dinner, they will be hosting that this Thursday evening. I've heard from many of you that you plan to attend that event. If I haven't heard from you yet, I'll be asking you in the hallway if you're going to be able to join us on Thursday evening. But it is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that our business community gathers to express appreciation to the men and women of our police department and our fire department and our partner agencies that are involved in public safety here in the Greer community as well. This will be the 5th year that our Chamber of Commerce has sponsored this event, and we are so appreciative of that. They certainly recognize the contributions that all of our team members make, but this is an opportunity that they recognize those who are involved in public safety operations. So I hope you're going to be able to join us. If you haven't indicated so, please see me before we leave tonight, and we'll make sure that accommodations are made for all of our team that plans to attend. Also need to remind you that your Statement of Economic Interest reports, better known as your ethics reports, those are due by March 30th. So if you have not yet filed those, you have until next week to do so. Please do know that late filing does incur penalties from the State Ethics Commission, and we would like to make sure that no one is presented into that type of a situation. So please be reminded that those ethics reports, those Statement of Economic Interest reports, are to be posted to that site no later than March 30th. And we'll send some reminders out next week on that as well, just to make sure everybody gets that taken care of. Calendar item that is always of interest to you. We want to make sure that we're getting information out to our community, and that is our annual Amnesty Day. That will be taking place on April 30th from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. That will occur at our recycling center. As you are aware, for a number of years now, we've participated in that event. It's that opportunity to bring into our site those items that would not be traditionally collected at curbside. So it's a wonderful opportunity for folks to get rid of those paint cans, those insecticides. It's an opportunity to get rid of those tires, building materials, those things that we would not normally see on a curbside pickup. We will also have a community-wide shredding event taking place there at the recycling center as well. So we'll invite our community, if they have items that they would like to have shred, all they have to do is bring those items to the center, and we will take care of that as well. We do remind folks this is for city residents. This is an event that we do for our city residents, and then we also ask that folks limit what they bring to their household items. This is not a commercial collection program. There are other ways for commercial businesses to do that. So these are for our residents and as well of the city, and for those items that they have at their personal residences as well. Would also like to ask to present some additional information to you concerning a couple of bills that have both been filed at the South Carolina State Legislature. They're both House bills. We've been talking about these for quite some time, or at least one of these we've been talking quite some time about, and it's involving our business license program. If you were able to attend the Municipal Association's Legislative Action Day, you received some briefing on that as well. But I've asked Mr. Seifert, who is working on the advisory team to the Municipal Association with a group of business license officials from across the state, if he would bring some information tonight concerning that program. Mr. Seifert?
Thank you, Mr. Driggers, and Mayor and Council. As Mr. Driggers just stated, there are two bills that are before the legislature right now. One was filed last week. That was the municipal association bill that we've been working on for about a year and a half. The first bill was filed about 2 weeks ago. So I want to bring you up to speed on these two bills. They are technically competing bills in the legislature, both around business licenses. The first bill that was filed 2 weeks ago, this one is House Bill 4967. Now, this bill was put forth by two special interest groups in the state. In a nutshell, I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to cause confusion with you in the two bills, but with this bill in particular, it is not treating all businesses fairly, and it does create an unfair advantage to certain businesses. So it is not an equal and fair presentation to all businesses in the business license community. More important to the cities, on the revenue side, it does jeopardize the services that our residents are used to receiving and our businesses depend on. The bill that is before the legislature severely cuts into our business license revenue and does not provide for a way to replace that lost revenue. Some of the concerns in this bill outside of the revenue is that it does circumvent the regulatory processes that we currently have in place. For instance, when a new business comes in to be licensed, and we make sure in regards to construction companies that they're licensed with the LLR with down at the state, that they have all of their permits in place and they have all the zoning in place. And then the very last piece is when we do the business license. This bill will circumvent that process and would allow the state to issue the business license without the local cities being able to handle those regulatory processes. What the Municipal Association is asking is that mayor and or members of council is to contact their legislators that may be signing on as sponsors of this bill to inform them of the negative consequences, and we have some talking points for you if you would wish to do that, and ask them to remove their name as a sponsor. The bill that was just filed last week, this is the bill that, as Mr. Drigger stated, about 20 business license officials across the state have been working on. We've been working on this about a year and a half with the Municipal Association in conjunction with the State Chamber of Commerce, certain members of the legislature, and then other stakeholders. So we have a lot of groups across the state that are buying into this process and supporting the bill that we have just filed. The name of this bill is the South Carolina Business License Tax Standardization Act, and it is House Bill 5109. The purpose of this bill does streamline the processes, and it standardizes across the state for all cities to create uniformity and consistent treatment of all businesses across the state from all cities making a more business-friendly atmosphere for the state. Just some highlights in this bill: it does create a consistent due date for all cities, for all business licenses across the state. About 2 years ago, the Municipal Association put forth an effort to create a uniform business license application. This bill will require that all cities accept this uniform application. We, of course, are one of the first cities to accept this uniform application and have for several years. It does not replace our application, but it does mean that we will accept it if a business brings it in. One of the confusions in business license is with the different ordinances across the state is the definition of gross income. Some cities have different definitions than others. This bill will create a unified and consistent definition of gross income for all cities. Again, as those ordinances differ, you're aware that the way that businesses are classified in their rate schedule may differ from city to city. This bill does create a uniform license rate structure. So again, that would create uniformity across all cities in the state. And then lastly, the biggest issue that it does for paid and revenue is it creates an online portal. A lot of cities across the state do not have payment portals, and we are one of those to collect online payments for business licenses. The Municipal Association has put forth and dedicated money to build this portal. It will be available to all cities and all contractors, or excuse me, all businesses, and it helps streamline the process of payment for business licenses across the state, where in particular if a multi-city business comes in, they can put in all the revenue and allocate it to each city. That portal will calculate the fees and then automatically tell them what the fee is due to each city, but they only pay it one time through this portal. And then once those licenses are approved by those cities, the Municipal Association turns around and distributes that money to the cities. It would be 100% returned to the cities. The action that the Municipal Association is asking here is just the opposite for the first bill, and that is contacting our legislators and ensuring our support of that and encouraging them to lend their support to it and to sign on as a sponsor. So those are the two bills. The one that we are supporting, again, is the South Carolina Business License Tax Standardization Act, House Bill 5109. Be happy to take any questions you may have.
It standardizes, the second bill standardizes classifications for businesses, but we still set our own rates.
Correct. That rate classification is based off of the profitability standards or profitability index generated by the Internal Revenue Service.
Seifert, I was under the impression that sometime last week 4967 was returned to committee. Is that still in committee, or do you know, or is it returned from committee to?
It has not been released out of committee yet.
Our desire is that it would remain there.
I think we conveyed some information to our local House members that they were able to, I believe, get their name off of that bill. At least one of them I know for sure did, and I think maybe both did. Right. Others? Thank you for the update, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seifert. And in conclusion, I would ask council's consideration for several items in executive session this evening. I do have one legal that is involving some information from a settlement, and I have two contractual. One is involving a property purchase, in fact, both of those are involving a property purchase or a property acquisition, and two personnel matters, one involving our police department and one in our building and development standards department. One legal, two contractual, and two personnel. I would ask for council's consideration in executive session this evening.
Thank you, sir. Council, we'll move to items of old business. First of which is the second and final reading of ordinance number 5-2016. This is an ordinance to change the zoning classification of property owned by Jonathan E. Bettis located at 218 North Main Street from OD to RM1. Mr. Pace? Any additional information in regards to final reading?
Again, Mayor and Council, just to remind you, and it is noted that this is an amended to Jonathan Bettis, a.k.a. Mr. Bettis' son, and moving forward with that, and that's the only new information in regards.
Entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas.
Yes.
Mr. Bettis, you recuse yourself. Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, we have the second and final reading of ordinance number 6-2016, an ordinance to provide for the annexation of a portion of property owned by Mark III Properties Incorporated located on Alexander Road by 100% petition and to establish a zoning classification of R12 for said property. Any new or additional information in regards to ordinance number 6-2016, Mr. Pace?
Yes, sir, we're not ready yet for council to hear second reading. We'll make one modification to the proposed ordinance with the tax map number to come, and we'll get that back to you at your 4/12 meeting if that's appropriate for council.
Request a holdover.
Yes, sir.
Council, I'll entertain a motion that we hold ordinance number 6-2016 over.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion in that regard? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas.
Yes.
Mr. Bettis.
Yes.
Ms. Albert.
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor and Council, if I can, just take 1 second before we step down. I would like to thank our director, Steve Grant, tonight for keeping his presentation under 45 minutes, and all of us stayed awake, which has not been the usual case for our departmental report. So I do applaud him for that thus far.
That's right. You can take a swipe at somebody.
Yeah, he couldn't even remember Glenn's name.
But he only slammed the folks he used to work for.
Well, we'll move to items of new business, the first and final reading for resolution number 4, 2016. This is a resolution to accept Dillard Creek subdivision streets, namely Hawkins Bluff Drive, Horton Grove Road, Jameswood Court, into the City of Greer street system. Mr. Grant, you have information in that regard, sir?
I do. Good evening again, Mayor and Council. You should have a map showing the location and layout of the Dillard Creek subdivision phases 1 and 2 in your package. If you don't, I have paper copies available if you would like those. This development was started back in 2010, and the subdivision is essentially built out now, and the engineer of record has requested that the city take the subdivision streets into our inventory. Staff has inspected the streets, sidewalks, and curb, and we are satisfied that they meet city standards and are in good condition. So therefore, staff recommends that these streets be accepted into our inventory for maintenance and ownership.
Council, on the recommendation of staff, I'll accept a motion to receive resolution number 4-2016. So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any follow-up questions or comments in that regard? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas.
Yes.
Mr. Bettis.
Yes.
Ms. Albert.
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have the first and final reading of Resolution 5-2016. This is the allocation of the Greenville County CDBG and home funds for program year 2016. Mr. Sell joins us this evening to give us an update in that regard.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. The resolution before you contains the budget figures that were presented during the public hearing. Those remain unchanged from what was discussed 2 weeks ago during that hearing. At that time, we presented information regarding subrecipient funding, the total amount being $40,000. That amount is included in the resolution. In your packet tonight is some new information regarding a specific report that details how those monies were distributed, the way that they were graded and everything. That information is included in your packet. I'd like to just take a quick minute to kind of review that information with you since it wasn't information that was presented last week. If you look on, there is a report that looks like this, starts off this way.
What's the title of it?
It's the CDBG Subrecipient Funding Request Fiscal Year 2016-2017 in your contents list there. The information contained in there breaks down each agency and then tells what the program is, the funding amount that was requested, details the activities of what those funds are going to pay for. Then it gives you a brief overview of a funding history of how that program, if it has been funded previously in previous fiscal years, how that money was distributed out of the subrecipient fund in those period of times. And then the final column is the staff recommendation from GCRA based on their system of reviewing the applications and what they recommend in regards to funding for this particular fiscal year. Take a look at the first one, which is the Greer Parks and Recreation Needmore Youth. This is the Needmore Center's Youth Summer Camp Program. The requested amount was $21,891.50. The funding from the previous year, which is fiscal year 2016 that we're in now, it was $7,000. That's how much was funded out of subrecipient funds last year. The staff recommendation is to keep that funding at the same level of $7,000 for the upcoming year. Second program on your list is the Greer Parks and Recreation Center's Cannon Center Senior Program. This program requested $5,290.25. The amount that was funded last year out of the program for the program was $3,000. This year, the recommendation from GCRA staff is $1,000 for that program. Creative Advancement Centers is the third program in the list on the second page of that report. The program requested $10,000. The funding last year was $8,000, and the recommendation for funding this year is $9,000. Greer Community Ministries is the fourth program. The requested amount was $30,000 for that program. The amount that was funded in last year's budget was $14,000. This year, the recommendation is for $15,000 for that particular program. On page 3 is the, I guess this is the the fifth program. Yeah. Fifth program is Greer Relief's Resources and Agency Incorporated. Requested amount is $22,600. Last year, that was funded at a level of $6,000, and the recommendation is that that program be funded at $6,000 this year. Finally, on the last page is page 4, is the Helping Hands of Greer Incorporated. Requested amount is $2,000. They were provided $2,000 in funding last year, and the recommendation is to provide $2,000 this year to that program as well. All of these programs are the same programs that we had last year, and I think for the previous at least 3 years, if not 4. And the programs that they're running are similar. Ms. Cunningham's with us as well. She'd like to spend a couple of minutes providing some additional information regarding the senior program at the Cannon Center.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just really wanted to take a few minutes and address this program. I want to make sure that we believe it's of great value to this community, and I just wanted to briefly just go over and explain what it is. Approximately 47% of older Americans have not entered the digital age, and the benefits of internet literacy for senior adults, include increase of brain activity in areas of the brain associated with memory and decision making, reduced chance of depression, and increased exposure to social activity. And we'd like to provide a program for senior adults that introduces them to computers and healthcare information that's available online. And this program is for individuals over the age of 50. And we will teach, and we have been teaching, basic computer functions and web navigation so that they can learn how to set up and check email, open and download attachments, and introduce them to social media, and learn benefits that are offered to senior adults through websites such as USA Gov, SSA Gov, Medicare Gov, NIH Senior Health Gov, etc. And this will allow them to access information to manage health conditions online, to order prescriptions and groceries online, and to remain independent in their homes longer. And we also educate them on the locations of local public access for computers and internet in their community. And the participants can bring their own laptops or tabloids, or we provide those during class. Just to give you a little bit of brief, and I know Mike's gone over this somewhat. In 2013-14 is when we introduced this program to the community, and we requested $52.90 for 20 people, and it was funded. And I think we had a really great response. We, of course, turned people away. 2014-15, we requested the same amount, the $52.90, and we weren't funded. So we revised it, and we thought, well, for this current year, 2015-16, we requested our $52.90, but instead of 20 people, we designed it for 40. And we reduced the classes from 12 to 6 because we wanted to reach more people. It was funded at $3,000 for this year, so we're able to provide this these classes for 24 people. This class begins on April the 8th. We just began registration, and it's already full within 7 days of advertising. This is for residents and non-residents, and several of our SOAR and Senior Action participants are also registered. We currently have 41 people that are on our wait list. In 2016 and 17, again, we requested the $52.90 for the 40 people, and we got 1,000. And with this 1,000, we can help 8 people. So I guess we feel that this is a really valuable program to our older senior adults that live in this community. We'd still like to try and provide this program, and we're just looking for alternate ways to do that. Whereas we can run this through one of our 09 special accounts and actually create a fee that's associated with this. And if we did that based on the $1,000 that we have, and if we took the same amount of people, which was 40, then it would be a $95 registration fee, and I think that's pretty high. Our other option is to possibly run it through our 11 account and ask if you would help fund this program for us through our general fund. And that way we can still provide this program and still use that $1,000 grant to offset that cost. And I really am here just to ask for your guidance and if you'd consider it.
Ms. Cunningham, is this a typo that says for fiscal year 1560 that 0 people were served?
Our current year, 15-16?
Yeah, at the bottom of that explanation, it says expected to serve 40 seniors. FY 15-16 biannual report served 0.
That's a current number. The program for this fiscal year starts in
April the 8th.
Okay.
We're going to serve how many people?
Oh, we're already full. We're serving 24.
Okay.
So they just don't have that as a program hasn't started.
Right. But again, it's, we have 41 people that are on our wait list, and they're calling us. We get 2 or 3 calls a day. So there is a great need for it, and we'd certainly like to help provide that service.
Council, there's 5 other agencies on this list that get money. If we took $400 from each one of those, that'd be enough to fully fund the program. Even though Ms. Cunningham has one on there, which she may not wish to be included, but...
Well, on the very last one, I don't want to cut that one. I mean, these folks, they serve 2,800 people, and, they requested $2,000, but I know that their expenses to run the programs they do is, I don't know, 10, 20 times more than that.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of concern as well, too, that the Greer Relief Agency, which has requested $22,000, is going to get that $6,000 for next year. I'm not exactly sure why, when Greer Community Ministries requested 30 and got 15, that number is accurate. And in fact, I do know that Greer Community Ministries says to run their Meals on Wheels program. I obviously don't want to cut into that, but it was also to purchase a replacement hot box. and milk refrigerator. I think the hot box is being donated to them by Leadership Greer this year. So it may be that we could borrow some of, we could take some of that allocation possibly. I'm sorry, I cut you off. You had
No, sir, I was just simply going to say, just as Mr. Sell indicated, the rate, rank, and recommendations are that of the GCRA evaluation staff, and those are provided to you for your consideration. It is council's discretion at the allocation. These are, each of these are qualified programs. What we're faced with each and every year are more requests than there are available funds under the CDBG program. But the allocation methodology is up to council. What you have before you are simply a recommendation by GCRA staff based on their evaluations.
Well, Mr. Mayor, you could take 10% off of Greer Relief, Greer Community Ministries, Creative Advancement, and I think you'd have enough. And put that
Definitely
on.
don't want it off of the creative advancements either.
Well, there's only so big a pot here.
It's true.
And they've gotten an increase over last year, and at the at the decrease of the Cannon Center.
This is the dilemma that we face every year is, how do you take a very, very limited amount of money that all goes to well-qualified agencies, and do essentially what you want to do. I think Jay makes a valid point. I mean, if indeed Helping Hands is serving almost 5,000 people, you've got Greer Relief that we know, serves a lot of people as well too. Community Ministries, we know what they're doing. Creative Advancement certainly has been a big part of providing for our children after school. I would, I do think, and I really don't think that I am speaking out of school, that, one of the items that Greer Community Ministries has listed is a replacement of their hot box, and I do think that that's going to be taken care of. Now, they had requested $30,000, so they're only getting half of what they requested in any event, but, for the sake of continuing what we're doing at the senior center, you said we've got a full class already registered,
Yes, sir.
and that's 40 people?
No, it's 24. It
24.
started out as 40, but we had to reduce it to 24 because they reduced our funds to 3,000.
Okay, so we
But
need...
that program's funded. This April's program's funded.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that program's not in jeopardy. We're moving forward. That's out of last year's appropriation.
Our concern is we already have 41 signed up in case people don't, they drop out. We have 41 on a wait list. So, and it's just getting bigger every day. So we know there's a need there. We're just trying to address it.
And I think there's even a much bigger opportunity here for us to serve our community. There was a number that came out several years ago that that indicated that nearly 15% of Americans had no access to the internet other than a phone-type device. I just heard recently that same statistic. Now, I don't think that it was 2 or 3 years old. I think that that's a trending number, and I think that there may be a real opportunity for us to take this beyond our seniors. Obviously, there is a wealth of information in terms of healthcare-related benefits and other types of things that our seniors can explore, but we also have young people that need access to the internet for job applications, for college applications, for any number of different things other than just checking to get the latest gossip or whatever it is that they want to do. There are a lot of kids that do not simply have access to an internet to be able to apply for a job or to put in a college education or to look at a Greenville Tech catalog online. And so I would like to see us take this program, much further than what we have in the past, and see if we couldn't open it up even more.
Who does the rankings on this?
The staff at Greenville County Redevelopment Authority. They administer our CDBG program.
And this is the project that you're talking about is the one at Cannon Center?
Yes, sir.
And per their ranking, I mean, if you look at the different agencies, it came in on the bottom of the list. So, I mean, what was it they were using to try to determine which projects had a higher ranking versus this being the lowest?
Their scoring system, which I don't have a copy of, but I have seen it. Each of the categories, application, eligibility, experience, administration, project, they each have several different components within there, and they look to see, and it's a HUD guideline, and it asks certain questions, like there may be 5 elements under eligibility, and if you can check that box, you get 10 points under that particular one. So each one will have a certain amount up to, I think, about 150 points, or I'm not sure what the max is. I think max changes in different categories. And once you put all that together, you end up getting your final score. But it's a lot of criteria. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's a traditional rubric. I mean, that's what it's based off of, and so when you're ranking the program, if one is serving more clients than another, you're going to get a higher score in that category because your per capita percentage is higher. So that's how that ranking system will work through that rubric.
I would think, too, that part of it has to be that, you see food, shelter, diapers, and things that have a little more sense of urgency versus providing computer training for the elderly. I mean, I would suspect that has something to do with it, too.
I don't know what the threshold's in there, but I think there are some elements that, that number of people served is part of it, but it might be one variable out of 60.
Right.
A total, different variables that's considered in determining what the scores are. So it's not weighted any heavier than another. It just has a factor assigned to it. I don't know what it is, but you're right, that is in there.
The allocations, they're not bound by any particular percent, are they? Haven't we borrowed in the past from demolition and?
We
can't exceed the 40,000 that's there because that's a HUD restricted amount based on our total income of HUD funds.
So it is bound to a percentage.
Yes, we can't put an extra 10,000 in this program and take it from something else. The subrecipient is limited as a percentage of total revenue.
And 40,000 is at our cap.
Yeah.
I mean, you can remove monies from subrecipients and put it in something else.
Yeah, you can take it out of that and put it in demolition, but you can't take it out of demolition and put it in subrecipient.
I think it's 15% of the total amount or something around.
Must be 7.
Of the 263,000 that is coming from HUD in next year's budget. It's a percentage based off that amount.
He makes big bucks to make these decisions.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to look at the ones that have, you know, gotten more than they've had in the past. I mean, this is the dilemma that we face every year, and every one of these is good. I mean, there's just no way to figure out a way to do this without hurting somebody. You know, Helping Hands, $2,000. They're you know, for what they're doing and the number. You know, what impresses me is the number of people that they're serving, and I'm assuming that can be quantified in some regard. Greer Relief always does a good job. I'm not exactly sure why, you know, that number is what it is, but I don't want to disturb that. You know, Greer Community Ministries and Creative Advancement are both excellent programs. Creative Advancement's going to, you know, is slated for $9,000 as opposed to $8,000, and Greer Community Ministries is slated for $15,000 as opposed to the $14,000. I would suggest that we might reallocate $500 from Creative Advancement, which would give them $8,500, and then $1,000 from Greer Community Ministries, which would put them at $14,000, which was where they were last year, and then put that $1,500 with $1,000 that is in the program. They get them $2,500. That'd be closer than where they are now. Would anybody be opposed to that?
Well, that would bring it up to
Gotta make it work.
2,500, you say?
That'd bring them to, yeah, $2,500 for the next program year.
That serve 20 people, right? Do 8 for 1,000, right?
You know, the only other way that we would get there would be, you know, we had, I don't know, unless you took another $500 out of Greer Community Ministries, but I'd be hesitant to do that as well, too. I mean, the computer program's a good program, and we want to serve as many people as we can, but to Mr. Dumas's point, you know, in some cases, we're talking about food services and aftercare school services and that sort of thing. And so I think the ranking is probably appropriate.
I should just be able to even and did 1,000 from each. I definitely wouldn't want to take it from Creative Housing because I know firsthand how they impact the city, but to make it across the board, I guess it would be
Well, Mayor, I think what you
1,000
just
from the Creative.
said was correct. You know, the ranking, if you look at the ranking the way it's done, and then if we just go back and look at what each service does and what they provide, that kind of thing, I think the rankings are dead on the money. It's just the total allotment of funds we have to pull from. You know, I think it may be that we leave it as is, and if Ann and her staff feel like it's a very valuable program, because it's not this year, it's next year, right? Then maybe it would have to be. We can fund it out of the general budget, right?
$1,500.
And that may be what has to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not imminent. It's next program either. So.
Well, let's do this then. If we've got more than one thought in terms of how we'll do this, we've got to take action to make a change in this. We'll We'll entertain motions and vote till we get one that's accepted.
I make a motion, we take $1,500 out of the general fund.
Well, we wouldn't have to do anything other than adopt what we've got. If we're gonna do that, that action would be separate, I would assume.
We would, that would be part of your budget for 2016, 2017.
This would be just to accept the recommendations of GCRA staff and fund it as the
Correct.
recommendations that they have.
Correct. That would be part of the budget.
And then you would have a
negotiation.
budget request during your budget process from Ms. Cunningham for the balance in her departmental budget.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion.
What's the motion?
Who made the motion? There was no motion.
Mr.
Are we
Griffin
going
made a
with what's
motion.
here? Made a motion to...
No, but his motion was to appropriate it out of general fund.
Okay. All right. Excuse me.
So you said...
I'll entertain a motion to accept the GCRA budget as is.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Your motion will be made at our budget workshop.
Yeah. But I got one other question though, before we...
Okay. Floor is open for discussion.
Okay, about the home funds, the $80,000. Now, I know when we do, when GCRA builds a house and we take that money out of home funds and that money comes back, well, how does that work on if you do it for rental? How does that work? Does it come back too, or?
Program income.
We had this discussion with them last
We
week.
just talked about this with them too.
With the rental project, like for the Creekside project that they did, the units were sold to and I don't know the company's name that manages that property, but they were, the money was made when they sold the project to that company. The company's the one that generates the income from the rental, but the loans that's provided to them through GSRA, they pay the loans back, and that money goes into program income. So it's not the rental money, but it's the income from the rental that the company that manages the property generates to pay the loans back to GCRA. That's how program income is generated on a rental. It's not like building, as you're familiar with, you build a house up to somebody and the full amount comes back.
But they also, but they also did say that, and I think Mr. Bettis was the one who highlighted this, that it's a subsidized loan. I mean, it's a low interest.
It's a low interest loan,
like
correct.
2%. So
Yeah, it's very low.
That's what would be returned back.
It's also returned over 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of like saying if the properties were $300,000, instead of getting all that $300,000 at once, you get it over time from the company that you sold all the properties to for the rental property.
Now, what happens when GCRA does new construction, and, in the year coming up, is allocating this amount of money, does it take away from them?
No. You mean from when the new houses they construct and the money comes in?
Yeah, what I'm saying though is if we continue to allocate money out, like we've done it in the past, the majority of that money's come back into program income, and it's been allowed to circulate. But if you put it out like this each year and you're only getting like 2% back, then pretty soon you ain't gonna have nothing to put out nowhere,
Well,
because
that's
your
only for
program
the
income's gonna be.
Yeah, and that's only for the projects they do for rentals, obviously. I mean,
Yeah,
they others that they sell.
So my thing is, I'm not opposed to allocating money for that. I'm just not so sure we should do 80,000.
Well, the 80,000 is how much we're receiving from the state. That's $80,000 is a state allocation that we get from the state through HUD. It comes through the state and we get $80,000. The 160 is the program income that they anticipate to generate based on the home sales and the monies that they'll generate out of like from Creekside.
Program
for example.
income.
But the 80,000 is an amount that's given is budgeted.
Oh, 80,000 is coming to us.
Yeah,
New money.
80,000
That's
is
new
guaranteed.
money.
Well, no, I'm saying guaranteed, but it's the amount that HUD
That's our
projects.
federal appropriation.
Okay.
That's a federal appropriation.
State appropriation, sorry, state appropriation.
Well, from
Federal to the state, to us, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the 160 is the program income that's generated based on if they sell some, they're anticipating they're going to sell enough property and receive enough income based on the rental reimbursements through the loan to equal about $160,000
Of program income.
of program income. correct?
We continue to have one of the strongest
Yeah.
program income programs of all that they administer.
Yeah.
We've always
We've always had.
done that, yes.
In fact, I think, I don't have the numbers in front of me, I think the program income is higher this year than it was last year.
Okay.
Projected amount.
All right, I'm a little confused. I thought that the 80,000, I thought this question was asked, there were no plans for new single-family to-be-sold homes. That's not on the plan, is it? I thought the plan was construction of 6 single-family detached rental houses. That's the new construction, but it's not owner-occupied.
You are, no, that was at Creekside for the single.
Weren't they trying to do,
Actually,
they were trying to do like a
building-
owner financing?
No,
That's that Needmore project.
That's Needmore, yeah. And Nehemiah
Oh,
Corporation
Nehemiah.
was...
Yeah,
That was the
yes,
Nehemiah.
That is correct. I apologize, Mr. Edwards, you're
6
absolutely right.
single-family homes.
Yeah.
Forgot
For
that
rent.
the project
For
over
rent.
Needmore, correct.
They were trying to convert those folks into buyers too, isn't that wasn't that part of the program? They were going to initially rent them, but they were going to try to do some type of rent-to-own where they,
I don't know.
Well, it's a tax credit-based program, so once the tax credits are exercised, the home could be sold
Okay.
either to the renter, if they're a long-term renter, or to an investor.
And that's an identified project. That doesn't mean that there won't be other housing construction that takes place. They just know that that's one that's been brought to them from Nehemiah. There's potential for there's other redevelopment of properties in Needmore outside of that particular project that they're trying to accomplish, they just haven't gotten to them yet.
And the caution here may be that what we communicate to GCRA is that we desire for more of our dollars to be used in home ownership
Yeah.
versus in rental. Her comment at our last meeting was that there are a variety of partners in using HUD funds. Nehemiah is one of those partners.
But it's a bit of a balancing act for GCRA as well, too, because by using the rental model and the tax credits and the assistance from a group like Nehemiah, they're able to do 6 houses, as opposed to GCRA's ability to do housing with our funding, which may have only been 2. So you have a little bit of a trade-off in that regard.
He's using a partner.
You're leveraging a partner in that case, yeah. Others? Motion on the floor is to accept the subrecipient allocations as presented. Further comment, questions? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes.
For the budget resolution overall, the resolution, do we need to,
Okay.
we were,
Yeah, that was subrecipient,
Okay.
so we do need to approve the
All right.
overall resolution.
Okay. Then we need to, let's see. We didn't need to take a different action for the
we really
subrecipient since
didn't.
it was
We
included.
really would only need to do that if we were changing it.
Yeah.
correct.
If we were changing it.
Correct.
Just to be better safe than sorry, let's do a first and final reading in regards to the allocation of Greenville County CDBG and home funds for program year 2016. We already have one for our subrecipient funding. Let's do another one for the allocation of the Greenville County CDBG and home funding, so it'll be a matter of the record. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Just to be clear,
That is
this-
to adopt resolution
This
5.
is resolution this is shown as Resolution 5, 2016. It will be a vote to receive the Greenville County CDBG funding, which actually includes the subrecipient money as well as home funds for program year 2016. We just think this is probably a better way of making sure that we meet those specific federal guidelines in terms of us having approved that. Any additional comments in that regard? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Council item C is City Auditorium, and as we talked about in our planning session, there are some options for us in regards to not only the improvements of that building, but the use of that building, and we were excited to hear that there is a Phase 1 part of that project that can be hopefully completed in a relatively short period of time for an amount that seemed very appropriate to get that building up and programming. And Ms. Cunningham has come this evening to give us some additional information in regards to those renovations.
Mayor and Council, thank you for the opportunity to present this to you. At the council retreat, each of you should have a handout in front of you that really just goes back over Phase 1, in which we did at the council retreat. And this is our proposal of what we think would be a great idea for this facility. To actually make it available for rentable space for our art studios, to have art displays and receptions in our gallery, and that's in the highlighted areas. We would also have miscellaneous functions or assembly that could be held in other areas of the facility. It's not ones that we'll program in, but certainly would make that available if needed. We've prepared the building, I think, by removing existing debris and clean the building. The fire alarm repaired, fully functional, is completed but not yet monitored. The badge swipes for different areas of the building are completed, not yet activated. The wireless internet capability is completed, and then trees pruned and removed are completed. You'll see the renovation cost, what we're estimating through FF&E, our exterior door hardware and key cores for our interior doors, IT, contracted labor. We have a subtotal in the contingency. We believe Phase 1 can do it pretty close to the $60,000. I did encounter an issue last Friday that we were dealing with. I think we've got it under control, but we actually have squirrels. And we had to have CPW come back and do a little bit of damage repair to our fiber optic cable. So anyway, we've been making soffit repairs, trying to get squirrels out. They are devious, and we are doing the best to get rid of them. And again, so that's not something I was prepared for, but I will do the best that we possibly can to stick to this budget.
In fact, what we would like to ask of council is that there would be some work that we did propose would have been in Phase 2, and that would have been some of the soffit repair to the exterior of the building. Again, that would have typically been as we would have moved forward. As we asked of council, if we did not intend to move forward to have other use of the property, we probably wouldn't want to proceed with Phase 1 at this time. The opportunity that we have is that we have available resources to proceed. What I would like to ask council's consideration, while we have projected cost in Phase 1, we know that there would be some pieces of Phase 2 that we would want to go ahead and move up in the process. The available resources are in our hospitality fund. I would like to ask council's consideration to allow us to proceed with Phase 1, but appropriate out of that fund an amount up to $100,000 or not to exceed $100,000. But we do believe that it will come in under that, but it would allow us to do some of those additional repairs that we would have done in Phase 2. So we are requesting of you to allow us to proceed with Phase 1, but to appropriate or to allow use of up to $100,000 in our hospitality funds.
Council, on the recommendation of staff, I'll entertain a motion to receive, I'll entertain a motion to receive a recommendation that we proceed with the work of Phase 1 with a up to $100,000. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion.
Determined to get it to that $100,000.
No, I promise you, I will
I'm
do
just kidding.
everything I can to keep it.
This fix the whatever roof problem you got, too?
We do not anticipate doing any roof work. We think that's going to need to be planned out. If it's a repair, yes. I mean, if we can get up and make a leak repair, absolutely. But if this is a roof replacement that's going to be needed as part of Phase 2, then no, it would not include that.
In fact, we have some, we need to seal some of the gas vents currently that are on the roof. But that is included in this cost.
We obviously want to protect the building. If we can do that in a temporary measure, just to stop a leak, absolutely.
Others? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis, Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Ms. Bike, before you leave, I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you come up, please, ma'am, and give us a report on our juried art show we had last week?
This past Friday evening, we had the 2016 Juried Art Show reception. We had two themes this year, like last year, Greer goes global, and Greer an upstate destination. And all the winning artwork is hanging in the main hallway here. We also had a special award this year for Jack Chang for Master Works. He did the beautiful Chinese calligraphy that is out in the lobby. I will be taking it down this evening to protect it and putting it back up at the International Festival on April 9th. All of the winning artwork will stay up until the end of April. And there's some pieces in the back hallway that did not place, but we're going to leave them up through April 9th also, because the themes match our International Festival on April 9th.
While we've got you, will you or Ms. Cunningham, go ahead and give us an update on where we are with the International Festival and how many countries we've got and food vendors and other things? I know it's shaping up pretty quickly.
I'm in charge of the entertainment. We're really quite a team, so maybe Ann knows more about everything else that's going on already. We've got quite an action-packed entertainment schedule, I can tell you. I mean, I've got people wanting to perform here, there, and everywhere, and I'm trying to squeeze everybody in 15-minute increments, both outside and inside.
Great.
We have over 40 countries represented this year, and we finally got Germany. We are ecstatic. That makes it. So we are excited. We have such an enthusiastic group that are coming in. We will have our countries that we will be featuring. We will have sports, entertainment. Of course, we'll have activities for our children, entertainment inside as well as outside. Our food vendors will be here with all different types of foods from different countries, and we encourage people to come out and experience it. It is a wonderful opportunity to learn about different countries. We have included an educational component for children. We are hoping that their teachers will give them extra credit. We want them to go through and have their passports stamped, and so that way they can go back to school. But they'll learn about different countries as they go around to the different tents and whatnot. So it's a great event.
Be from 11 to 4 here at the City Park.
It will.
Good deal.
It will.
All righty.
Great.
Thank y'all. We appreciate your work in that regard. One of my favorite festivals that we have down here, just a delightful day, and I think it's accurate to say that it is action-packed. It really is. There is a lot going on. You can see every kind of costume and dance and instrument that you've ever imagined here on that day. So I would urge you to not only participate yourself, come by and see what's going on, but bring family members or encourage others at your work or wherever, church, wherever you get an opportunity to see both the unique and diverse population of Greer at its finest. Final reading, or first reading of ordinance number 8-2016. This is an ordinance authorizing the donation of certain personal property of the city of Greer. Mr. Riggers?
Yes, sir. This is the information that Fire Chief Dorian Flowers brought to us at our last meeting as information. We've had an opportunity to coordinate with the Woodruff Department as well as the Harley Bond Center, and we bring that to you now as a resolution allowing us to dispose of that property.
On the recommendation of staff and having discussed this at a prior meeting, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Earwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert, Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, in an executive session this evening, we have one legal matter, two contractual matters, and two personnel matters. Do I hear a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Earwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert, Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, in executive session, we have considered one legal matter, two contractual, and two personnel. We've taken no action in regards to any of those. I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Ms. Duncan?
Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert, Mayor Danner.
Yes. Stand adjourned.